What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Estate Fundamentals. I'm Brant Phillips, and today we're going to be talking about the best wholesalers, not just any wholesaler, but the best wholesalers. What is it that they do? How can you build your business working with the best and just kind of discard the others, right? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, are just what are some of those key characteristics, kind of what are the 101s of good wholesalers. So you may be a wholesaler watching this video. You definitely want to take notes. If you're an investor like myself looking to buy deals and grow your business working with wholesalers, you definitely want to listen to some of the things that I have to share after buying hundreds and hundreds of deals from wholesalers over the years. These are just some of the key characteristics and things that you want to look for as you're adding wholesalers to your network and really just trying to grow your business through wholesalers. So one of the big things here is that the 80-20 rule definitely applies, right? So there have been I'm telling you, I don't know where I would be in my business without wholesalers and some of the relationships and the deals that have been brought to me over and over and over again over the years with the good wholesalers. Now, I've had some bad ones that have made my life very difficult at times, but we're going to talk about the good ones today, right? And so let's talk about real quickly, as you navigate through your day-to-day business, however you have developed relationships with wholesalers, whether you're going to meetings, networking events, calling numbers from bandit signs, talking to other investors. As you begin talking to wholesalers, more and more of them, you're going to find they're not all created equal, okay? There's definitely some, like I said, they're going to be a great addition to your business. Some not so great. Okay, so what are some of the things that we're looking for? This really is just going to boil down to it, like just basic business 101. What makes good, long-lasting, sustainable, business relationships, right? Kind of that know, like, and trust rule. You want to work with people that you know well, and you like them to a certain extent, but you can trust them. You can trust their data. You can trust their information. You can take them at their word, right? And so you can build some type of synergy. There's some common ground in terms of ethics and honesty and trust, so that you can really get the most out of that relationship and begin to scale it to a certain extent and do multiple deals. Okay, so first and foremost, when you're working with wholesalers, the first thing they should be doing, and we're setting a really low bar here, but just bring you a closable deal. Have a legitimate contract. It's not something that they're feeling out, wondering if you're going to buy it or would be interested in buying it, or they don't know how to set their price and they're kicking tires, or they don't have a legitimate contract. They're not daisy chaining. Just don't waste my time unless this is a deal that we can actually close on, right? And so that's, like I said, just keeping the bar really, really low. Second off, what's the price, right? Like I don't have a problem. And when I say a firm and fair price, I don't have a problem, so to speak, if a wholesaler is going to be making, $50,000 on an assignment fee, if the numbers work for me. Now, I used to have the other opinion. Going back years ago, I used to tell myself, like, a wholesaler is not worth that. It's not, a wholesale deal is not worth that. Not the wholesaler's not, but the wholesale deal is not worth X amount of dollars. But that was kind of a egotistical, shallow type of mindset I had, right? Because if the numbers work, that's all I care about, right? If the wholesaler got it under contract for, $100 and it makes sense for me to buy it at $100,000 because it's worth $200,000, then more power to him to get a $99,000 wholesale fee, or to her. And that's fine. But just tell me the price. Like I said, don't ask me what I would pay for it. I used to have a wholesaler who's actually still a friend of mine today, and he used to do that all the time. He's like, "Hey man, what do you think about this? What would you pay for it?" I'd pay $1 for it. All right. So that's jokingly my answer whenever, wholesalers like, "Hey, what would you pay for it?" I'm like, "I don't know." Your job is to tell me what the price is, right? Like, what is the deal? What does it look like? Because I just don't have, it's not just that I don't have time. It's just, I don't have the desire to go play shenanigans and play charades with wholesalers. Like, let me see the price. Let's get to the price and also the terms. Like, is this going to be kind of highest and best? You're going to do a showing and have 20, 25 investors there, maybe even 5 or 10 investors. Let me know what the price is and the terms. Am I competing with other people, or do I have first dibs on it, right? And so this is really, really important for you. If you don't know, like, you need to be asking these questions, because I've lost a lot of deals just because of the sake of time, right? I didn't know that I was competing with somebody else, and that if I didn't respond quick, I was going to lose the deal. And what I want to say, because the story's coming to my mind real quick, is that the market that we're right now, at the time that I'm recording this in 2021, the real estate market is on fire, right? So right now, wholesalers are honestly, like, kind of have a little bit of a leverage over a lot of investors, because they've got very, very affluent buyers and a buyer list of buyers who are willing to pay, a premium, and they're everywhere, right? So when I was starting my business, it was a seller's market, and wholesalers were like, they needed to, if they could move a property, they needed to move it. And so they weren't going to do a bunch of highest and best type of things. They weren't, they didn't have a dozen different investors flocking to their deal. They may have one investor. So a lot of times when I was working with wholesalers, they would send it to me. I'd be like, great, I'm going to go take a look tomorrow. And they'd say, that's fine. But then the market started changing, and we'll go look the next day and, like, oh, the deal sold already. Like, you didn't tell me that. Right? So those are questions that I ask now, and you as an investor need to be finding out, like, what is the price, right? What is the price? Don't ask what I pay for it. And what are the terms? Mainly, like, what is my window to view and make a decision? And then you can get into the terms of, timelines, when do you need to close and things like that, any other conditions. So good wholesalers, once again, we're talking about the best. Give us some pictures, bro. Some of these wholesalers will send 2 or 3, maybe 5. They're blurry. What the heck? It's 2021. Get out there, whether it's you, the wholesaler, whether you're paying, somebody off Craigslist $25, go out there and take 50 or 100 pictures. It's not that hard. Give us some comprehensive pictures, and videos are great too. But that's what the best wholesalers will do. Don't send us these 2 or 3 pictures and we can't really analyze what we're doing. Comps. All right. So once again, we're talking about the best wholesalers, right? We're not talking about all of them. I get it. Like, a lot of them are not going to send you comps. But the best wholesalers, the ones that I've done the most business with, they're going to provide some recent and accurate comps, right? They're going to give me some data, right? We're always going to use the Ronald Reagan trust but verify. But give me some information, right? So that whenever I get that email, when they send me some information, whether it be an information packet, a link, a landing site, or whatnot, they give me some data. It's not data that I'm going to make a decision, yes, 100% I'm buying this deal, but they're just giving me some data where I can say, yes, I want to spend a little bit more time, do my own due diligence on this. I want to pull my own comps. I want to go out and take a look at it, or send somebody out to go take a look at it for me, whatever. But just give me some data on the values, right? Especially whenever, because we've been buying in other markets in the last few years, moving into other markets. And do we have access to comps and data there? Yes. But what we're looking for is someone who's done that legwork for us, someone who's most likely local to the market. They know that market. They've got access to data, to comps, things like that. Just send us some information to really make it easier for us, so that we can decide if we want to kind of go down that rabbit hole of figuring out if that's a deal that we'll want to buy. That's all that we're asking for. We're not asking them to, to go in degree and do all this kind of stuff like a realtor does. They don't have to do that, not at all. Just give us some comps, and so we can kind of figure out if we want to move to that next level. And if we do, that's where the pictures, going back to the pictures, are so important. Then we can get into a repair estimate or construction overview. So once again, very similar to like the comps, I don't need the wholesaler to bid this thing out for me and give me a 157 line itemized quote. That's great when they do that, and I've have had wholesalers that do that. They have construction companies that they work with and they provide that. I don't need that. I need about 4 or 5 things. The overall condition, the condition of the roof, overall condition of the home. Is it 1960s, 1970s? And when's the last time was it recently remodeled or something like that? And the pictures are going to tell me a lot of that. But overall condition, so I can determine kind of price per square foot rehab, just general for the general remodel, and major components, roof, foundation, AC. And is there anything else major that I need to know about? Like the driveway is completely busted up or all the fence is knocked down. So those are kind of major items, right? So that's all that I really need to know. I need to know if they're sending me a deal and saying it's $20,000 in repairs. Okay, where did you get this number from? Because you say $20,000 in repairs, and I'm looking at the pictures, I'm looking at a 1940s teardown that needs about $200,000 in repairs. You forgot a zero, right? So just give me a general idea. I'm not going to make my decision on buying this deal because you said it needs 20,000. I'm not going to take that as gospel, but I'm going to say, you know what, it's worth taking a little bit more time and investigating this deal. I teach my students all the time when they're analyzing a wholesale deal. I say initially when you get that deal, you need to kind of automatically internally do 2 things. Number one is decrease the value that the wholesaler is given. Sorry, wholesalers, that's the first thing we do. Whether it be 5%, whatever, most likely you're going to decrease the value that the wholesaler is giving you. Number 2, you're going to increase the amount of repairs that they've said, right? So you just assume those things, and if it looks like there's still some meat on the bone, you want to dig a little further, and that's what you do. And then lastly, when you begin working with the best wholesalers, they're going to provide you consistent deal flow over and over and over again. You have already spent the time, energy, effort, resources cultivating that relationship, determining whether or not, this person is someone that you like doing business with. They've sent you a good deal already if you've closed a deal with them. This is where you kind of scale, so to speak, and where you can do multiple deals with the same wholesalers over and over and over again. One particular wholesaler that I was working with in the beginning of my business, I consistently bought 10 to 20 houses from this company for 5 or 6 years, like in a row, right? And so if you think about that, they were easily adding 6 figures to my bottom line, multiple 6 figures in equity and cash when I began flipping houses, because I started out just as a landlord buying rentals. But they were adding 6 figures of cash and or equity, and a lot of times both, to my bottom line each and every year without any marketing costs, right? So when you find these good wholesalers, they're absolutely going to help you grow your business, grow your bottom line without a lot of the headaches that comes from other forms of marketing and that the headaches that other wholesalers may come with. Now, one thing I do want to say, this doesn't mean that they're the best, because they're not, but let's talk real quickly about working with new wholesalers. So, when it comes to working with wholesalers, a lot of the really experienced wholesalers, once they get established, they've got really, really good deal flow, their marketing is dialed in, they've got a very strong buyers list. At a certain point in time, it just may not make sense to work with them because they've got newbie investors or hedge fund buyers. They're just driving up prices where it doesn't make sense for you. So what you want to actually start looking for are some of the newbies. They may not necessarily have all these characteristics of the best wholesalers, but it gives you an opportunity to train them, help them, and become their number one buyer, right? So we as investors have to put ourselves in their shoes as wholesalers. What are wholesalers thinking about, when they're working a deal? What's my fastest cash to path? My fastest path to cash, I should say. Who's going to get this deal closed, right? Who can I trust to close it? And in the beginning, guys, that was my MO. That was what I was going to provide for my wholesalers. They knew that if they sent me a deal and it was a deal, I signed that contract, I was going to go to close and I was going to close it. That still applies to this day, by the way. If you're watching this, if you're a wholesaler, be sure to reach out. We're buying deals each and every month, starting to move into other markets, especially with mobile home parks. You've probably seen some of my videos. So, sharing this video, teaching, educating, helping other people, but we're still buying. So I'd love to work with you if you've got some good deals. So just keep that in mind, though. Just because somebody's new and they don't have these characteristics like the best wholesalers do, you can kind of teach them and train them and help them, a little bit and equip them, so to speak. So in a hot real estate market like we're in today, I'm actually not looking for some of like the big elite kind of social media rock star wholesalers. Not doing a lot of business with those guys. Just, a lot of my friends just don't do a lot of business with them. But the new wholesalers that just went to a boot camp, went through some training and just kind of working, understand the business, love to buy their deals, even JV with them on occasion. There's a time too where a lot of them kind of spread their wings and fly, and I get that. But if I can get 3 to 4, maybe 5 or 10 deals working with them till they move on up, then that's great, as well. That's been a really good relationship. So, and then a lot of them come back around. They may get their license, join my team. They may start flipping themselves. We fund their deals. We also do a lot of lending, by the way. And so those are just some of the characteristics of what the best wholesalers look like, some of the things that they do, and how you can utilize them to grow your business. So hope you guys got a lot out of this. Guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Be sure to check out some of my other videos about flipping, landlording, mobile home park investing, private lending, raising private money, you name it. It's all on here. Real Estate Fundamentals. You guys take care.